This is not a joke. We were always right. Former UFO task force member says Pentagon hide alien truths. So we're going to take a look at these clips. This was never a joke. We were always right, you know. So they're just confirming. We're going to look at this. This might be you might call it a compilation clip of all some of these news outlets backing up, bringing forth their so-called credible witnesses to back up what we've always been saying about the chariots or the UAPs or identified aerial phenomenon, identified UFOs, which are throughout the scriptures all round about, and we've seen them with our own eyes. But let them try and control the narrative. The Most High will make it more blatant and more obvious very soon. So before we go in, we're going to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, Hashem Harakak Wadash, double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, salutations to all the sincere Akim. Without further ado,
last night's 60 Minutes story on UFO sightings by U.S. Navy pilots is causing a big reaction today.
We have tackled many strange stories on 60 Minutes, but perhaps none like this.
Notice the graphic, UAP. That stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, better known as UFOs.
This 60 Minutes report yesterday was unbelievable.
The report focused on this extraordinary UFO sighting off Florida in 2015.
My gosh. Look at that thing, dude.
The UFO phenomenon has been around for more than 70 years and has become something of a joke. But Luis Elizondo, a former member of a secret Pentagon task force on unidentified aerial phenomena, tells 60 Minutes the government has been covering up the truth until now.
What you're telling me is that UFOs, unidentified flying objects, are real.
I'm not telling you that. The United States government is telling you that.
In 2004, U.S. Navy pilots were sent to pursue a UFO spotted on radar about 100 miles off the coast of San Diego. It was about the size of a fighter plane, but traveling many times faster than the speed of sound. Two of those pilots spoke out for the first time about what they saw.
And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object and just turns abruptly and starts mirroring me. So as I'm coming down, it starts coming up.
So it's mimicking your moves.
Yeah, it was aware we were there.
It was traveling so fast, it just disappeared off the radar screen.
If I saw this solo, I don't know that I would have come back and said anything because it sounds so crazy when I say it.
What are these things? Acclaimed physicist Michio Kaku says the 60 Minutes report is just the latest sign that UFOs are finally being taken seriously. Have things dramatically changed because of this footage?
This is a game changer. We have to keep our minds open to the possibility that this could be extraterrestrial. We can't put it out.
So there really may be something out there.
let's say that again. From what they call their physicists.
Things, acclaimed physicist Michio Kaku says the 60 Minutes report is just the latest sign that UFOs are finally being taken seriously. Have things dramatically changed because of this footage?
This is a game changer. We have to keep our minds open to the possibility that this could be extraterrestrial. We cannot rule it out.
So there really may be something out there after all.
There you have it. From the so-called claimed physicists, from the so-called former Pentagon members, from the ex-military fighter pilots, U.S. military fighter pilots, you know, and the list goes on. You got even the former president came out and said they know there's something out there that they can't quite put their finger on. They know there's something out there they can't explain. So you got these so-called credible witnesses, which we got the best credible witness. We got the Bible in its totality. We don't need these so-called credible witnesses to back us up. We've seen them with our own eyes. The Most High is building up our faith, and we're waking people up because we have something much more mighty and powerful than the so-called military, you know, carnal military, and they can't understand how they can't explain these things, and defies gravity as they know it, or technology as they know it. So I'm going to title this video, "This was never a joke. This is not a joke. We were always right," because they tried to make mockery of it and do all kinds of cartoons and call them aliens and green men and all. They've done movies on them which I related one of my visions in my previous video, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and it just shows that that time is going to come via the vision. If I go by the vision I had, it was pitch black. There was a EMP, a blackout, and it was eerie. It was like a horror movie, and we was in that time, as we've always been prophesying and talking about. We were in that time, and it was like a famine of the word. There was no electricity, and out of nowhere, bam, here comes the chariots bringing light, which I related in that video, and the whole house was lit up, and I had electricity, and there was brightness, and the most and as you say, there was light. The Most High came and he brought light, something we've been waiting for, we've been prophesying about for years. Now they're bringing it out. Really, they just want to try and control the narrative, but you know what, they had no choice. They had to, because there's too many. The next door neighbor, your next door neighbor was talking about it, your common, your average Joe were talking about it, and it's all up there on YouTube. They've been putting their videos up, not to mention the Hebrew Israelites. They've been talking about it for over 30 years now, and you've seen them also going back to the date 1947. You've seen them all over your White House, and you've seen them on your radar. When you tried to come out and confront them, they just disappeared off the face of the earth, disappeared off your radar, totally disappeared. So it's just really just the Most High making mockery of you, and he's laughing at you, yes, letting you know that you're just mere mortals. I'm going to bring out one precept, because you know what, the point is already made. The horses have spoken out of the horses' mouths. Isaiah, you only really need one precept for this. Isaiah 41:3 says, "Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fail." Right, your military, your air fighter pilots, all your technology, your so-called technology, your carnal technology, your air fighter pilots, your aircraft carriers, your ships in the sky, your all your technology that you have on the ground, in the air, your telescopes, your CCTV, everything is what it's saying here. Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both that helpeth shall fail. Right, all those that help your technology, and all those that think that they're going to help and get you out of this jam. This is not just a jam that you have to overcome. You ain't going to overcome this jam. Shall fail, and he that helpeth shall fall down. Yeah, that's all what you have up there in the sky. Your is it Project Bluebeam, I think you've called it. Yeah, that helpeth shall fail, and he that helpeth shall fall down, and they shall all fell together. So you're just carnal men, you're nothing to the Most High. So you so-called credible witnesses, you're just coming out really to try and cover your asses. Yeah, let me bring out this precept. I think this one really makes the point. 2 Kings 6:14 says, "Wherefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the men of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do?" Right, he was getting a bit worried, because he wasn't seeing things on a bigger scale, from the spiritual perspective. When he woke and he saw all the horses and the chariots that was surrounding them, And this is the answer in 16. And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountains was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. Right, the unidentified flying objects are chariots in the Bible, which are identified, and they are military. And you ain't gonna stand a chance. So if you were wise, you would just tap out. You will come out with your hands up. The jig is up. The jig is up. So this was never a joke. I'm going to title this video, This Was Never a Joke. We were always right. So I want to say all praises to Yahweh Shem Yeshai, and Tawada to Yahweh Shem Yeshai for giving me the spirit to do this video. Like I say, the vision I had reinforced the faith. You know, we know that they soon come. They've given us so many eyewitness evidence. And even we've got this compilation of videos which they put together themselves, because really they want to control the narrative, but they had no choice but to come forward anyway. All these news outlets, 60 Minutes and all these other news outlets have come forward, Fox News, Tucker Carlson, CNN, yeah, because they have no choice, which is all of the spirit anyway. Prophecies will be fulfilled. To what I tell you about Shem Yeshai for giving me the spirit to do this video. The house of David is rising up, and all the wicked, everything they've done to us, shall fall upon their own head, is falling upon their own head.